age, bringing news from a different page. Truth served hot and bold and strong. Every week we sing along. Red, white, and true will stand tall. Echo the call loudest of all. With hearts of faith and liberty, together we find unity. Stories that make you think and pray. A light awaits at the end of day. Guided by the stars and stripes, through the stormiest of nights. Red, white, and true will stand tall. Echo the call loudest of all. With hearts of faith and liberty, together we find unity. When the world feels like a fight, hold your ground, stand for what's right. In the truth we'll find our way. Ed and Ronnie light the way. Red, white, and true will stand tall. Echo the call loudest of all. With hearts of faith and liberty, together we find unity. Red, white, and true will stand tall. Echo the call loudest of all. With hearts of faith and liberty, together we find unity. Together we find unity.
Ladies and gentlemen, patriots of every stripe, today marks an extraordinary moment in American history. President Donald J. Trump has just been sworn in as the 47th President of the United States. The air crackles with anticipation for what this new chapter will bring as America turns its eyes toward the nation's capital and the red, white, and true spirit of our democracy. Now, buckle up for a special edition of Red, White, and True with your hosts, Ed and Ronnie. They're fired up and ready to break down every word of this historic inauguration address. In a time of celebration, questions, and new challenges, Ed and Ronnie will dissect President Trump's speech and share their raw, unfiltered feelings on the day's events. What the words mean for you, for us, and for the future of this great country. Get ready for a charged, in-depth conversation that doesn't hold back. This is the place where we stand proudly for freedom, where we debate, discuss, and dare to hope for a brighter tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the next 4 years. This is Red, White, and True, and the show starts right now.
It starts right now.
Right now.
You would have thought we were professionals. But what nobody knows is that all of that really cool stuff came from a third party who right now will remain anonymous. He loves working behind the scenes, and but wanted to give him a shout out as we get ready to go. What a day it's been, Ronnie.
Happy Liberation Day, everyone.
Yeah, there you go. And we want to look at the entire speech. What a speech it was. I mean,
Fantastic.
we've been waiting 4 years to get this speech. We
Yep.
thought that he would be given it 4 years ago today, and he wasn't, didn't. And it was, I want to say it was worth the wait. And he today, a couple of times, mentioned that if he hadn't have lost, then we wouldn't be where we are today, as in him being able to take care of some things. But then he also said, well, but there's some things that happened in the last 4 years I'd rather not have to have taken care of.
Yeah.
That's
For sure.
in Ed speak there, not exactly what he said, but let's do what you and I did a little bit earlier. We started with a word of prayer, and well, let me make another comment here real quick. Look at our backgrounds. I mean, right over your shoulder, right over my shoulder, Donald Trump is looking at us. And let's just go to the Lord in prayer. Father, I come to you just now, and I thank you for who you are and what you do. I thank you that you allowed us to be born in the United States of America. I thank you for our great nation. And as folks have said all day and all through the campaign for several years, to start making America great again. Father, draw us back to you. Help us to be wise enough to do that. And Father, I just ask as we go about tonight that we say the right things, we do the right things, we are gracious in victory, and just guide our thoughts and words, Father, in Jesus' name. Amen. Well, let's just get the elephant out of the room right off the bat. We seen a report. That report is probably viral by now. Let me see. I think I have a picture of that. Let me get us out of the way here. So what was wrong with that picture, Ronnie?
Well, President Donald J. Trump was taking the oath of office, and he did not have his left hand on the Bible.
And we could talk about this in depth. I'm sure there are many people that are disappointed that that took place. I haven't heard any reporting on why that took place, if it was an accident, if it was intentional, if there was hidden meaning. So we're going to wait, kind of like when there's breaking news, as in a natural disaster or a shooting or something to that effect. We're going to wait before we comment until we've got better information.
Absolutely.
That's just the best thing for us to do. We're going to be back tomorrow night with our regular Red, White, and True. So we should have plenty of information by that time, and we'll just comment on that there. That being said, let's look at well, I just got a prayer request that we will take care of later. Um, let's look at the very beginning of his speech. Uh, you and I both have the transcript up. One of the first things I want to mention is that they were actually late starting with the late starting with him taking the oath of office. It was actually 2 minutes after 12, and according to the Constitution, it is supposed
20th
to be
Amendment.
done, supposed to be done by 12 o'clock. Not that that's a big deal. I'm sure that, and I heard earlier how that's taken care of, and but it was kind of ironic that the feed I was watching, they kept talking about, well, they're going to be running behind. They got to get that in by 12 o'clock, and it was almost 12, and they hadn't even done J.D. Vance yet, and they got him in time. But like I say, it was a couple minutes late. As with any major event, things are apt to not go the way you want them. Have you ever had any kind of event that went 100% perfect?
Never in my life, no.
I was going to say, when you when you were in high school and did band performances, you had a thing or two that went wrong.
Oh yeah. One notable come to mind. It didn't happen to me or to the band, but to the band after us. And just as we were marching off the field, somebody came up and ripped my drum off of me and ran back to the other end of the field. The band before had broken a head as they were marching out. So it happens to everybody. I mean, it could have been something simple as a microphone malfunction.
So there was the two things that I mentioned so far. There was Carrie Underwood after the oath of office had taken, and she was supposed to sing with an accompaniment track, and something happened there. But boy, she came back like a champion. She just
Absolutely.
busted it out a cappella.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah,
what?
she did.
Yeah. You go, Carrie.
Yeah, she killed it too.
And the sad thing is, she took a lot of garbage for performing at the inauguration. She
sure did.
And then there's a problem, but I think she handled that the very best possible, and may have even turned out better because of the way she handled it. So, but things don't always go off as you plan. Most of the time they don't. I got to watch where I put my arm. It makes it look like I don't have a left arm there. So let's put it over here, and I do have a left arm. Opening, take us through the opening couple paragraphs here, Ron.
Well, number one, the opening paragraph is always, the thank you, and he mentions who's there, but he said something that touched me and really kind of gave me goosebumps. After he said, welcome, and my fellow citizens, the golden age of America begins right now. And I thought that was just phenomenal right there. The golden age of America. It's a little, he's bragging a little bit, possibly, but that was awesome. From this day forward, our country will flourish and be respected again all over the world. Man, he kills it with the ending of one sentence and kills it again with the beginning of another right there. We'll be the envy of every nation, and we'll not allow ourselves to be taken advantage of any longer. During every single day of the Trump administration, I will simply put America first. Right there.
Ooh. Now, one of the things that caught my attention right off the bat was as he's making the speech over his shoulder, a row back, 2 rows back, he's standing behind the podium. We see former President Joe Biden and former Vice President Kamala Harris. And from right out of the chute, you could almost take it as if it was a slam the Democrats speech.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I'm thinking, as you watch him talk and you watch those two over his shoulder, that how that they sat there and just take him slamming them to the whole world. I mean, I told some people that, with Dementia Joe, I was waiting for him to stand up and say, "You SOB, F you."
There were several times, though, that Joe looked like he was asleep, or he looked like he didn't know where he was at. I mean, is this my birthday?
Well, and that's the thing. You're going to see. Somebody showed me a picture of Elon Musk, and he's waving at the crowd,
Smiling.
And a liberal outlet said that he was giving the Hitler salute.
Oh, my Lord.
Well, if you would run back and do what they did to this speed right here, I just went like that. And
how dare you?
They could say, they could stop that, make a picture of it, and say, well, there's Ed Boston, and he's giving the Hitler salute on his live stream with Ronnie. So there's going to be a lot of that, and I hope that people don't just panic. And like you said, that Joe, there's all kinds of. You mentioned something that we'll talk about tomorrow night that happened, and all different kinds of things that people could make comments about. But they like to make us be distracted with those kinds of things. Yeah. And so that we're not talking about the meat of the speech that he gave. But with that being said, I just now turned the comments on and see what Beth said. And you look great.
Well, thank you very much.
I asked you what was wrong with that one picture. Well, let's say, what is different about your picture tonight? And if you're listening, go ahead and throw a comment on how great you think Ronnie looks without any facial hair.
Yeah, I turned 41 and had a job interview, so it was time to let Amish beard go by the wayside for the time being. I may grow back. I don't know. We'll see.
And your mom just commented, and she is elated. She made the comment not very long ago, is I hate his beard. It was probably about the same time that I shaved my, no, we went facial hairless together because I shaved off my goatee. It was probably then when she said something about your former beard. Oh, now the comments are coming in.
Yeah. I look younger, I look good, and I look like Grandpa Coon.
And Beth would know about that. She spent a lot of time here when it was Amy's father's house. And so she would know. She said, don't tell you because you might want to grow it back.
I'm growing it back. That's it.
Okay. Well, let's go.
Thank you, everyone.
next part of the speech, our sovereignty will be reclaimed, our safety will be restored, the scales of justice will be rebalanced, the vicious, violent, and unfair weaponization of the Justice Department and our government will end. And our top priority will be to create a nation that is proud, prosperous, and free. America will soon be greater, stronger, and far more exceptional than ever before. I return to the presidency confident and optimistic that we are at the start of a thrilling new era of national success. A tide of change is sweeping the country. Sunlight is pouring over the entire world, and America has a chance to seize this opportunity like never before. But first, we must be honest about the challenges we face. While they are plentiful, they will be annihilated by this great momentum that the world is now witnessing in the United States of America. Ronnie, talk a little bit, if you will, about that momentum that is basically started the day that we started Red, White, and True.
Well, the momentum that started during election night, with Donald Trump coming from behind and taking the win back. The biggest thing that comes to my mind is the tensions all over the world, the hostages in Israel being number one, just any great number of things, really. People feeling more confident and able to relax now that the adults are back in the room. I just find it funny how you mentioned the attacking Joe Biden and Kamala Harris as they were sitting there, basically his entire speech. These two paragraphs right here are a perfect example of that, of basically saying, look, you two screwed up. Now the adults are back in the room. We're going to fix this. We're going to make things better again.
Well, speaking of the first time that we did Red, White, and True, that would be 11/5 of 24, inauguration, or not inauguration day, but election day. And for Christmas, I got this really awesome map.
Matches mine.
Oh, there you go. So we have matching maps that Ronnie gave me mine for my Christmas present, and couldn't have been any better. This election map of the United States shows the red states that Trump won and the blue states that Harris won, which means we have basically a red map. There's a couple touches of blue. But one of the reasons for tonight, other than what a great night it is to kind of commemorate where we came from. We came from the first time with election, and then what better follow up for a special program than the inauguration of the president, and going back to the day that we started with Red, White, and True. And at that time, we didn't know that the name Red, White, and True was going to come into being.
Yeah. I didn't even know if I was going to come back.
Well, seeing as how we worked you so hard the first night and didn't pay you a whole lot, you looking at Trump over your shoulder?
Yeah, I've got the executive orders, the ones that he was signing, and a couple other things going on. So, and my stupid dog again.
Well, I had a live link up, but that has gone to stay with us for coverage of the inaugural balls. So I thought there were times that we might go live. Do you?
Yeah, I've got everybody walking into the inaugural ball right now, actually.
Oh, is that what they're doing?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and take off from where I left off. America will soon be greater, stronger, and more exceptional. Uh, and then the next paragraph I read ended in witnessing in the United States of America.
Would I lose my spot here? Witnessing. Okay, so as we gather today, our government confronts its crisis of trust. For many years, a radical and corrupt establishment has extracted power and wealth from our citizens, while the pillars of our society lay broken and seemingly incomplete disrepair. We now have a government that cannot manage even a simple crisis at home, while at the same time stumbling into a continuing catalog of catastrophic events abroad. And a little side note here, when I watched this originally, I had to play that 2 or 3 times because that is a mouthful. Continuing catalog of catastrophic events. Anyways, it fails to protect our magnificent law-abiding American citizens, but provides sanctuary and protection for dangerous criminals, many from prisons and mental institutions that have illegally entered our country from all over the world. We have a government that has given unlimited funding to the defense of foreign borders, but refuses to defend American borders, or more importantly, its own people. Our country can no longer give basic services in times of emergency, as recently shown by the wonderful people of North Carolina, been treated so badly, and other states who are still suffering from a hurricane that took place many months ago. I'm going to read one more just because it has to deal with that. More recently, Los Angeles, where we are watching fires still tragically burn from weeks ago, even without a token of defense. They're raging through the houses and communities, even affecting some of the wealthiest and most powerful individuals in our country, some of whom are sitting here right now. They don't have a home any longer. That's interesting.
Well, do you think, again, that Joe and Kamala were squirming in their seats? I mean, he basically just called them useless. I mean,
Yeah.
Seriously, that's what he just did. He called them out as useless.
Yeah.
And
it's true, though. I mean, like you just said, fires are still tragically burning. People are still suffering in North Carolina. Hurricanes. The government botched every bit of it.
he said, but we can't let this happen. Now, I'm sure that there were people on the left that would take that as, how can you stop wildfires? How can you stop hurricanes? That's not what he meant.
No.
What do you think he meant with that?
He's not going to be able to stop a wildfire, and he's not going to stop a hurricane, and he's not going to stop the coronavirus. But what he is going to do is manage it better, be there for those people. Joe Biden gave $770 for the wildfires in Hawaii, $700 the wildfires in LA. I don't think they've really done anything in North Carolina. So, I could see Donald Trump being there a lot better than that. A lot more than just sitting on the beach, taking, what was it, 2/3 of his presidential time on vacation. So I'm going to go to bed tonight, sleep better, knowing that he's in charge rather than the potato we've had for the last 4 years.
And boy, is that a mouthful of truth, a mouthful of truth. He knows that he has no control over those things, but what he does have control over is where he says, I'm going to insert here, what I have control of, we can't let this happen on what has been happening. We got to do better, and we've used that term. We just got to do better. The government has to do better. Individuals have to do better. Organizations have to do better. And when all of those work together, doing better, then America is better. I mean, that's just plain and simple. America is better when we are working for the good of others together. Let's continue. Uh, my recent election is a mandate to completely and totally reverse a horrible betrayal of all of these many betrayals that have taken place, and to give the people back their faith, their wealth, their democracy, and indeed their freedom. From this moment on, America's decline is over. Woo!
Gut punch right there.
Our liberties and our nation's glorious destiny will no longer be denied, and we will immediately restore the integrity, competency, and loyalty of America's government. Man. I mean, I joked earlier, but you almost think that you're going to see Biden or Biden and Harris both just get up and walk out. I mean, seriously, I would have had a hard time sitting in their shoes and just listening to somebody call me the things that, what did he just say? Basically, he said they had no integrity, they were incompetent, and they had no loyalty.
Betrayal. Yeah, he said betrayal twice in that one paragraph.
I mean, I hope to believe that I wouldn't have had those kind of things that would have needed to be said about me. But if I did, it would have still been a pretty difficult thing to sit there and listen to basically a massacre taking place. Yeah. Go ahead with the next section.
Over the past 8 years, I have been tested and challenged more than any president in our 250-year history. Couldn't agree more. And I have learned a lot along the way. The journey to reclaim our republic has not been an easy one. That I can tell you. Those who wish to stop our cause have tried to take my freedom and indeed take my life. Just a few months ago in beautiful Pennsylvania field, an assassin's bullet ripped through my ear, but I felt then, and I believe even more so now, that my life was saved for a reason. I was saved by God to make America great again. Couldn't agree more.
And at that point, he got a rousing ovation.
Absolutely.
Up until that point, it had been kind of cordial on the applause, but at that point, the entire rotunda, which is where they held that at today, just erupted in cheer. And many of the commentators that I've heard talk this afternoon say that he actually sounded like he was given a State of the Union address.
Yeah.
And basically he was. That's not far off of what happened. Thank you very much. That is why each day under our administration as American patriots, we will be working to meet every crisis with dignity and power and strength. I love his use of words. I know that they have speech writers and all, but they used there was no word salads, so to speak, in this. Harris can take pride. Well, no, not pride. But she can take pride in the fact that she created a new thing, word salads. We will move with purpose and speed to bring back hope, prosperity, safety, and peace for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. For American citizens, January the 20th, 2025 is Liberation Day. It is my hope that our recent presidential election will be remembered as the greatest and most consequential election in the history of our country. As our victory showed, the nation is rapidly unifying behind our agenda, with dramatic increases in support from virtually every element of our society, young and old, men and women, African American, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, urban, suburban, rural, and very importantly, we had a powerful win in all 7 swing states, and the popular vote, we won by millions of people. Did you see Harris's reaction when he said millions of people?
No, I didn't.
Were you just listening and couldn't watch it?
I was listening and writing at the same time, and I was trying to take notes and throwing tacos down my throat as quickly as possible. So no, I didn't get a chance to catch everybody's reactions, but
Well,
I can only imagine.
She spent a big part of the day with a smirk on her face, and a big one when he said that, won by millions of votes. I mean, to her, that had to be like the fingernails on the chalkboard going.
Oh yeah. I've got here on the New York Times that I'm reading this off of. It's got these little quips on the side, and it says Trump and his allies have talked about this victory as something akin to a landslide that gives them a mandate to govern, but he prevailed with one of the smallest margins of victory in the popular vote for a president in decades. Sounds like sour grapes to me.
Well, that's just kind of nuts, because he didn't win the popular vote the first time around.
Yeah, he didn't. He only won the
Hillary
electoral.
got more votes than he did. So, I mean, I guess that would be one of the lowest margins, since how it was a negative. There's been numerous occasions where the elected president didn't win the popular vote. Go ahead and read some more.
To the Black and Hispanic communities, I want to thank you for the tremendous outpouring of love and trust that you have shown me with your vote. We set records, and I will not forget it. I have heard your voices in the campaign, and I look forward to working with you in the years to come. Today is Martin Luther King Day, and to his honor, this will be a great honor. But in his honor, we will strive together to make his dream a reality. We will make his dream come true. National unity is now returning to America, and confidence and pride is soaring like never before. In everything we do, my administration will be inspired by a strong pursuit of excellence and unrelenting success. We will not forget our country. We will not forget our Constitution, and we will not forget our God. Can't do that. So it's the second time in 4 paragraphs that he has brought up God.
Yeah, which is why I want to wait until tomorrow to comment about the Bible issue. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
He did reach out to more groups than have followed Republicans maybe ever. I mean, people will say, well, Harris still won the African American vote by a large margin, and the Hispanics. But the point is not that, I mean, the number used to be like 90-10 on the African Americans, and it wasn't anywhere near that at this point in time. And so you don't go from 90-10 to even 50-50. That's not possible. Well, I guess anything's possible, but it's not realistic. And so had he done that, had he gone from whatever it was last time to 50-50, just think of how much more he would have won by.
He didn't win California either, but he made great strides in closing that gap, more than any other president. So, he might not have won that, but it's still a win. Look at how well he did,
Well, I mean, look at the Electoral College,
Yeah.
and we know that if you took away a couple of urban, you know, huge populations, that even some of those blue states on the map would have been different. I mean, if you take New York City out of the New York, you might be seeing a red state there.
Oh, absolutely.
Same thing with Chicago. The same thing, and this may not have always been on the plate, but you take LA out of California, and California might be a red state.
Yeah, California, I think, would be a red state if it weren't for LA County.
And now, if there was an election today, and I heard a commentator say this, if there was an election held today, would California still be a blue state with the fires? And
that's I didn't think about that, but yeah, you're right. That's iffy right there. You know, I don't think it's going to change a lot of the liberal lefty Looney Tunes views there in Los Angeles, but I'm sure a lot more people might second guess it.
well, I mean, how many celebrities have we heard talking that out about?
Oh, yeah,
Democratic leadership and
calling out the administration.
I'm like you. I'm not sure that would totally change. You know, they're speaking out of frustration, which is very understandable. But would they, if it was election time, actually vote that way? It'd be interesting to know. Let's continue on.
Today I will sign a series of executive orders.
I think, did we do national unity?
Yes. Yeah. Where he says, I can't forget our God. Yeah.
Yeah. Today I will sign a series of historic executive orders. With these actions, we will begin to complete the complete restoration of America and the revolution of common sense. That's just cutting it down to brass tacks there. You know,
oh, absolutely.
Like the revolution of common sense. It's all about common sense. First, I will declare a national emergency at our southern border. All illegal entry will immediately be halted, and we will begin the process of returning millions and millions of criminal aliens back to the place from which they came. We will reinstate my Remain in Mexico policy. I will end the practice of catch and release, and I will send troops to the southern border to repel the disastrous invasion of our country. Now, think about this for just a second. He declared a national emergency. He started with the border. That's the very first thing he mentions. They're saying that he may sign up to 200 executive orders, and he's been signing executive orders all day long.
Yeah, he's been pen to paper pretty much all day.
Yeah. He's either talking behind a microphone or signing papers. And but he made the point in one of his talks today that the border was probably his biggest topic the first time he ran. And man, it's so much worse now than the first time that he ran. That whether you like him or hate him, and whether you say things about, let's see, what is the quote that I heard yesterday? The first part said something, and then the people who pick our vegetables are not the problem. I could look that up, but won't give it any more credence than that. So you're right. The people that pick the vegetables aren't the problem. It's the
No.
murderers and the rapists and the felons, people that they released out of their jails where they came from. That's the problem.
People who are trafficking drugs and sex and kidnap and all that. They are. But you can't sit there at the border and interview each person coming across illegally. You know, are you here to pick vegetables or are you here to deal drugs? Come on, you know.
So go on from there.
All right. Under the orders I signed today, we will also be designating the cartels as a foreign terrorist organizations. And by invoking the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, and the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 is a centuries-old law that allows for the quick deportation of people from countries from which the United States is at war, that have invaded the United States or have engaged in predatory incursions. It is unclear whether it can be used to encompass drug cartels. He's going to make it clear. It's going to happen. I will direct our government to use the full and immense power of federal and state law enforcement to eliminate the presence of all foreign gang criminal networks, bringing devastating crime to U.S. soil, including our cities and inner cities. As Commander-in-Chief, I have no higher responsibility than to defend our country from threats and invasions, and that is exactly what I'm going to do. We will do it at a level that no one has ever seen before. Next, I will direct all members of my cabinet to marshal the vast powers at their disposal to defeat what was record inflation and rapidly bring down costs and prices. The inflation crisis was caused by massive overspending and escalating energy prices. That is why today I will also declare a national emergency. We will drill, baby, drill. And he says this a lot. Almost every rally, I've heard him say this a lot. Drill, baby, drill. Absolutely. Go for it. We've got it. Drill it. Let's go.
Well, we go back to the term common sense there. If we've got the oil and we have the technology to drill, baby, drill, what are we doing not doing that? He talked about, and it's probably in the next paragraph, supplying people around the world with oil. And you and I and folks like us have said for 4 years, this stuff doesn't make sense. We're sitting on huge amounts of oil, and because of some Green New Deal, whatever that means, I mean, I know what it means, but that was maybe the beginning of the word salad stuff, the Green New Deal, salad and green and
green salad.
But common sense, back to common sense. America will be manufacturing once again, and we have something that no other manufacturing nation will ever have. The largest amount of oil and gas of any country on earth, and we're going to use it. We're going to use it. We will bring prices down, fill our strategic reserves up again, right to the top, and export American energy all over the world. We will be a rich nation again. And it is that liquid gold under our feet that will help do it. With my actions today, we will end, and let's just cheer right even before I say it. We will end the Green New Deal, or we will revoke the electric vehicle mandate, saving our auto industry and keeping my sacred pledge to our great American auto workers. Now, you and I both know that Trump is really good friends with Elon Musk, and obviously Tesla is electric vehicles. So you got any thoughts on that, on how they're such good friends and
they can be good friends, and Elon Musk is still going to sell electric vehicles. You know, just because we're going to drill and gas prices may come down, he's still going to sell electric vehicles. He's still going to sell the Cybertruck and Tesla cars and all that. And Elon's a guy with common sense, and he knows that. You know, just because of this federal electric vehicle mandate or whatever, you know, that's not saying they were going to buy Teslas. I'm pretty sure they were going to buy what's the other brand, the popular brand, whatever. But you know, and anybody wanting to save a few bucks or be part of this new trend, yeah, they're going to still buy an electric vehicle. So Elon knows that.
It's two totally different markets in my way of looking at things.
Oh yeah,
and I'm maybe he did back before I paid much attention to Elon Musk, but I've never heard him think that the Green New Deal or the electric vehicle mandate, I never heard him talk about how that's a great thing.
No.
I mean, he's a free speech person, and so I can't imagine him thinking that it's a good idea to force people to do something that they don't want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, that wouldn't be good for his, to me, that wouldn't be good for his business to force people to do certain things. Go ahead and read some more.
All righty. In other words, you'll be able to buy the car of your choice. We will build automobiles in America again at the rate nobody would have dreamt possible just a few years ago. And thank you to the auto workers of our nation for inspiring your vote of confidence. We did tremendously with their vote. I will immediately begin to overhaul our trade system to protect American workers and families. Instead of taxing our citizens to enrich other countries, we will tariff and tax foreign countries to enrich our citizens. For this purpose, we are establishing the External Revenue Service to collect all tariffs, duties, and revenues. It will be massive amounts of money pouring into our treasury coming from foreign sources. The American dream will soon be back and thriving like never before. To restore competence and effectiveness to our federal government, my administration will establish the brand new Department of Government Efficiency. I love that.
Yeah. Well, I love too what he said about the external revenue service. As a matter of fact, I think I made a post on X when he said that. You know, wouldn't it be interesting to know of the revenue service, whether it's internal, external, whatever, as being something that did something good?
Yeah. I
mean, I don't know of anybody, and this is rare, but I don't know of anybody that thinks the IRS is a good thing.
No.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's people out there that like dealing with people that want to make sure that you give the government as much money as you can.
Yeah.
But, you know, so many times in this speech and even reading it again, like we are right now, so many times I want to do like, yes. I want to say, preach.
Get you all goosey bumpy.
Yeah. I mean, he he just fits what our country needs. I don't know that people were as excited about Joe Biden winning as people are that Trump won again.
Yeah.
And the difference is the left could have put Bozo the Clown up in Biden's place, and they would have voted for Bozo the Clown just to make sure Trump didn't get back in office. And well, some people might say that he could be Bozo and Kamala could be Ronald McDonald. I seen something that said
Bozo was entertaining and actually had, he was fun, people wanted to be around him. Joe Biden, not so much.
That's true. And I read one meme that said Kamala starts at McDonald's tomorrow. Actually, I think I read it yesterday, and it was about today. But she did have an appointment today.
Job interview.
Well, I meant she was busy at Donald Trump's inauguration.
Oh.
Go ahead and read some more.
After years and years of illegal and unconstitutional federal efforts to restrict free expression, I will also sign an executive order to immediately stop all government censorship and bring back free speech to America. Never again will the immense power of the state be weaponized to persecute political opponents, something I know something about, and that is true. We will not allow that to happen. It will not happen. Under my leadership, we will restore fair, equal, and impartial justice under a constitutional rule of law, and we are going to bring law and order back to our cities. This week, I will also end the government policy of trying to socially engineer race and gender into every aspect of public and private life. We will forge society that is colorblind and merit-based. As of today, it will be henceforth the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
Ooh, whoa. Did he go there?
He went there, and I can see right now millions of liberals' heads going.
I think your mother, it may have been at that point. Your mom got to see the whole speech. She didn't get to see the things after too much because she had to be at work. But yeah, I think that's the point where she said, man, liberal heads are spinning right now.
Yeah.
And give me a second. I'm going to need to plug my laptop in, or Ronnie will be running.
If you want me to.
Oh, go ahead and read.
This week, I will reinstate any service members who were unjustly expelled from our military for objecting to the COVID vaccine mandate with full back pay. That was another goosebump moment when I heard them say that. And I will sign an order to stop our warriors from being subjected to radical political theories and social experiments while on duty. It's going to end immediately. Our armed forces will be free to focus their sole mission, defeating America's enemies. Now, I don't know if you'd heard this or not, but there was a gentleman, and he was a higher ranking in the Space Force. He spoke out about DEI and the vaccine mandate, and he was literally let go of his job, and he came to Trump, and Trump hired him, not a cabinet member, but something high up.
Yeah.
For military affairs.
Yep. I did read about that.
Yeah.
He said he is the first veteran of the Space Force, is what he called himself. Let's go back to a couple of the things that you talked about and read, because it's a shame that this has to be even addressed. The immense power of the state to be weaponized to persecute political opponents, something I know something about. I mean, that is third world country at its best.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And unless we continue to allow it to go that direction, the United States is not a third world country. We're a world power, and we need to start acting like it again. You know, I enjoyed reading a lot of people making comparisons to Ronald Reagan. You know, the hostages the day before start getting released. You know, Reagan, the hostages in Iran were released on Inauguration Day. Just so many different things. Both of them had been targets of shootings and had been shot. And everybody that's around here knows how I feel about Reagan. And I've enjoyed hearing those comparisons. And one commentator I was listening to said that Trump loves hearing those comparisons, which makes me like him even more.
Yeah.
I was watching Nobody Faint with our streaming services that we had. I was having a hard time finding on YouTube what I wanted. And so we ended up on NBC. I know that don't freak out. We ended up watching the speech on NBC. And so when your mom went to work and I went back in and was listening to commentary, NBC actually had the former Speaker of the House, McCarthy, on.
Wow.
I'm like, and he talked like a conservative on NBC. So what's up with this? But he made some great points about like the weaponization of the Justice Department. Being the liberal hacks they are, they said, well, what about Kash Patel? And what about Trump going after his political prisoners? And former speaker, he trashed them right to their face. Lester Holt and 3 women. I mean, he just smoked them. He said, name me one time that Trump has gone after a political opponent. Name me one time he's done that. Then he said, Kash Patel, I know him. I'm friends with him. He will do things by the letter of the law. Well, what about that hit list that he's got? He said, let's look back. We have all of these situations from the last 4 years where if you look at J6, you look at what happened with Trump all the time, the Justice Department basically laying the hammer down on conservatives. And that's a fact that nobody can dispute.
Oh, yeah.
That nobody, I mean, you can make excuses for it, but you can't dispute it. It happened. And he said, so let's kind of hold off on that, always bringing up what's going to happen and see what does happen. He said, if they weaponize the Department of Justice, I think he added in there, like has been done the last 4 years, then you have a right to bring something up.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, I'm thinking this is a great day. Trump's just rocking the house, and then he's
It's
done.
a great moment.
And I'm on NBC, and the former speaker is just dogging these liberals to death right to their face. Kind of like what Trump did to Biden and Harris.
Yeah.
All right, read some more.
All right. Like in 2017, we will again build the strongest military the world has ever seen. We will measure our success not only by the battles we win, but also by the wars that we end. And perhaps most importantly, the wars we never got into. Great, right there.
Yes, it was.
My proudest legacy will be that of a peacemaker and unifier. That's what I want to be, a peacemaker and unifier. I'm pleased to say that as of yesterday, one day before I assumed office, the hostages in the Middle East are coming back home to their families. Thank you. America will reclaim its rightful place as the greatest, most powerful, most respected nation on earth, inspiring the awe and admiration of the entire world. A short time from now, we are going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, and we will restore the name of the great President William McKinley to Mount McKinley, where it should be and where it belongs.
Well, he got a huge ovation when he said the Gulf of America.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Go ahead and read that next paragraph.
President McKinley made our country very rich through tariffs and through talent. He was a natural businessman and gave Teddy Roosevelt the money for many of the great things he did, including the Panama Canal, which has foolishly been given to the country of Panama after the United States. The United States, I mean, think of this, spent more money than ever spent on a project before and lost 38,000 lives in the building of the Panama Canal. We've been treated so badly from this foolish gift that should have never been made. And Panama's promise to us has been broken. The promise of our deal and the spirit of our treaty has been violated. American ships have been severely overcharged and not treated fairly in any way, shape, or form, and that includes the United States Navy. And above all, China is operating the Panama Canal. We didn't give it to China, we gave it to Panama, and we're taking it back.
Now, when he said that about we didn't give it to China, he had a look of I don't know if to me it was a look of anger, disgust, several things together with that. And if China has any kind of control and anything breaks out, and we have to make our Navy go all the way around South America to get to the Pacific, you're talking about a major, major issue. The same thing with manufacturing. It's like what's going on in the Middle East when they can't go through the Gulf there and have to go all the way around Africa. It brings prices up. It causes insurance companies to have problems. And so that China deal and the Panama Canal is a big deal. I want to take a second here. I see Mike Sisk in the comment section, and I know that Cisco was actually in DC. If you're still listening, Mike, put in the comments where you watched from. Were you in the arena, or where exactly did you get to go? I know a lot of people were disappointed with the fact that they had to move inside. I seen somebody make a comment today, basically calling Trump a con man. He got all these people to buy tickets, and then only the rich people was invited into the rotunda. And so, I mean, it was disappointing. It was disappointing that the parade couldn't take place on the streets. Like, that's one of my favorite parts of Inauguration Day is the parade. I thought they did a good job of simulating a parade inside of a basketball arena. But Mike must not have stayed around. But I know he was excited about going to DC. The last time I seen him was before they had decided to move it inside. But, there's probably several reasons, don't you think, that they moved it? Okay, Bill and Tanya, they're actually Cisco's neighbor. He was in the arena up top behind the stage, so he was in the arena. I'm happy for him that took place. He got into there and got to see Trump speak live.
So you're talking about why they moved it inside,
right?
So
can't you think of about 3 or 4 good reasons?
Well, I heard, of course, it was all rumor and conjecture, but the drones are still an issue. They're talking about that, attacks, all over. President Trump, though, right after the inauguration, I'm trying to think, he went somewhere and gave another speech, and he was talking about the severe cold. Mm-hmm. The arena, was it the arena? Yeah, he was talking about the severe cold. Said that when they walked outside to the helicopter, when the potato and chief left, how cold it actually was, and how he was thankful they chose to do it inside because of the cold, that people be outside trapped in that. So I was outside in it all day. If it's anywhere near as cold there as it is here, they made the right call.
And they did. They're going to get blasted for it. They're going to get made fun of for it. But you mentioned numerous reasons why it needed to be inside. I mean, the man has had 2 assassination attempts outside.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great reason right there not to be outside. I heard Dan Bongino speak earlier today about he's not convinced that the Secret Service has the ability to, and he's an ex-Secret Service agent, to stop a massive drone attack on the Capitol if that were to take place. And of course, terrorism, there's just all kind of reasons to bring it inside this time. And I think he made the right call.
I agree.
Let's keep going. And where did you end up?
I've finished, gave it to Panama, and we're taking it back. So the next paragraph starts out as above all, my message.
Above all, my message to Americans today is that it is time for us to once again act with courage. Here's another one of those good word choices. Act with courage, vigor, and vitality of history's greatest civilization. So as we liberate our nation, we needed to be liberated.
Liberated on Liberation Day.
There you go. We will lead it to new heights of victory and success. We will not be deterred. Together, we will end the chronic disease epidemic and keep our children safe, healthy, and disease-free. The United States will once again consider itself a growing nation, one that increases our wealth, expands our territory, builds our cities, raises our expectations, and carries our flag into new and beautiful horizons. And we will pursue our manifest destiny into the stars, launching American astronauts to plant the stars and stripes on the planet Mars. So I'm going to take a second here, and I'm going to send both of us to
Mars. Love it.
love it. He, of course, if him and Musk had any differences on the electric vehicle, Trump made up for him here because it would be SpaceX that would put us on Mars.
And now, as soon as he did mention Mars, I did happen to glance up at the TV, and they did cut to Elon, and he was enjoying it. He was having a ball right there.
Yes, he was. When I was watching the NBC commentators, they were talking about expanding our territory and making that like we were going to go to war to take these places over. And again, the former speaker said, hold on. I think he said it like this. Hold on. First and foremost, Trump is a businessman. And these things will be like business transactions to him. He said that's not even realistic that we're going to go to war to take. You see what liberals do? They just go to the extreme, say something stupid, and then others jump on board with it. And the next thing you know, we're going to be hearing that Trump's not going to keep us out of war. He's going to go to war to take over Greenland and Panama, the Panama Canal.
That's like these little quips on New York Times that I'm reading. It's the next, well, another paragraph later, Americans push through thousands of miles of rugged lands and untamed wilderness. It says Trump's evocation of manifest destiny and American expansion stands out given his recent refusal to rule out using military force or economic pressure to control the Panama Canal or Greenland. That's complete assumptions right there. Another one is this portion of his speech sounds similar to Trump at one of his rallies, listing American achievements, putting himself at the top of that list. They'll push and do anything they can to go after him. And I just.
Well, you and I would probably both agree that Trump is arrogant. He is confident. He speaks about himself a lot. What I want somebody to do, if Joe Biden could govern from his basement like he campaigned from his basement the first time around, if he could have governed from his basement and got good results, who cares? It's the results that matter.
Yeah.
So not everybody likes Trump, and not even people that support him necessarily like some of the things that he says or some of the things he does. But hey, he was cool last night. He was on stage with the Village People, and they sang YMCA, and Trump did the Trump dance. Did you see that?
I did not.
I was going to say, it might have been after you went to bed.
Yeah, I didn't.
So
I'll have to pull that up, though. I want to see that.
Oh, if I think about it, I'll send it to you, because I sent it to your mom.
He's sitting at the Oval Office right now for the last half hour, and he's done nothing but talk and sign papers.
Oh, so he's doing both of them together now, huh?
Both, yeah. Now he's doing both together.
The first executive orders that he signed, it was hilarious because they brought in. Actually, Pelosi didn't attend the inauguration.
I noticed that,
but she was there for the signing of the executive order, the very first executive orders, and he was making jokes about them being there, witnessing good legislation. I mean, he was just kind of, sticking that fork in a little.
Oh yeah,
seeing how tender the meat was. But yeah, he was doing some talking while he was signing earlier in the day too.
She just pulled it up. I'm watching it now. That's hilarious. The YMCA dance.
Oh,
yeah. Wow.
Read some more.
All right. Ambition is the lifeblood of a great nation, and right now our nation is more ambitious than any other. There's no nation like our nation. Americans are explorers, builders, innovators, entrepreneurs, and pioneers. The spirit of the frontier is written into our hearts. The call of the next great adventure resounds from within our souls. Our American ancestors turned a small group of colonies on the edge of a vast continent into a mighty republic of the most extraordinary citizens on earth. No one comes close. Americans pushed thousands of miles through a rugged land of untamed wilderness. They crossed deserts, scaled mountains, braved untold dangers, won the Wild West, ended slavery, rescued millions from tyranny, lifted billions from poverty, harnessed electricity, split the atom, launched mankind into the heavens, and put the universe of human knowledge into the palm of the human hand. We work together. There's nothing we cannot do and no dream we cannot achieve. Many people thought it was impossible for me to stage such a historic political comeback, but as you see today, here I am. The American people have spoken.
Yes, they have. They have spoken. And it would be a disservice to the American people for him not to fulfill the promises he made on the campaign. I remember I heard a story several years ago. Don't know if it's true, makes sense, but somebody asked Barack Obama about why he hadn't kept so many campaign promises. And his response was, "You didn't expect me to keep all those promises, did you?" Well, here's the answer to that. Yes, we do. If you make us a promise to get elected, then keep that promise when we elect you.
Absolutely.
And I believe that he's going to do what we do best. I'll go ahead. I stand before you now as proof that you should never believe that something is impossible. I know you just read this. To do in America, the impossible is what we do best. And it kind of flows right on into this. from New York to Los Angeles, from Philadelphia to Phoenix, from Chicago to Miami, from Houston to right here in Washington, D.C. Our country was forged and built by the generations of patriots who gave everything they had for our rights and for our freedom. They were farmers and soldiers, cowboys and factory workers, steel workers and coal miners, police officers and pioneers who pushed onward, marched forward, and let no obstacle defeat their spirit or their pride. Together, they laid down the railroads, raised up the skyscrapers, built great highways, won 2 world wars, defeated fascism and communism, and triumphed over every single challenge that they faced. After all we have been through together, we stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in American history. With your help, we will restore American promise and we will rebuild the nation that we love, and we love it so much. Now, I want to mention here people who say that Trump talks about himself and that's what happens, and he brags and he takes credit. When he was talking there, he gets zero credit for 2 world wars. He gets zero credit for the railroads. He had something to do with skyscrapers, but it could have gone with or without him. Building great highways, that was before his time for the most part. Defeated fascism and communism, that was again before his time. Triumphed over every single challenge that they faced, being the heroes that came before us. I think he was being humble when he said those things and giving credit where credit was due. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, none of that he mentioned he did that. He didn't say I laid down railroads and built skyscrapers and none of that. He's giving credit where credit's due, and not just from 1 or 2 people. It's from everyone all over the country.
Basically, he talked about from our founding until today.
Yeah.
Every generation has been important in advancing what America is and what it has been. And now it's our turn to make it what it can be and to lay the foundation for what it will be. Go ahead. I think we're down to the last half page or so.
Yeah. You want me to finish her out then?
Yeah, go ahead and finish it out.
Okay. We are one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. So to every parent who dreams for their child and every child who dreams for their future, I am with you. I will fight for you and I will win for you. We are going to win like never before. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. In recent years, our nation has suffered greatly, but we are going to bring it back and make it great again, greater than ever before. We will be a nation like no other, full of compassion, courage, and exceptionalism. Our power will stop all wars and bring new spirit of unity to a world that has been so angry, violent, and totally unpredictable. America will be respected again and admired again, including by people of religion, faith, and goodwill. We will be prosperous, we will be proud, we will be strong, and we will win like never before. We will not be conquered, we will not be intimidated, we will not be broken, and we will not fail. From this day on, the United States of America will be a free, sovereign, and independent nation. We will stand bravely, we will live proudly, we will dream boldly, and nothing will stand in our way because we are Americans. The future's ours, and our golden age has just begun. Thank you. God bless America. Thank you all.
Ooh, we should all stand up now and give a standing ovation. I know that so many people on the left, made their threats about leaving the country. So many are upset that it's Trump who is in charge of the country again. But my encouragement, and this don't matter a hill of beans to the people on the left, but give the man an opportunity. Let him
Give him a
govern.
chance. Yeah.
The first 4 years, he was investigated before he ever even got inaugurated.
Yeah.
And it was just one right after another. And so, at least, and the former speaker mentioned this, it doesn't take long for the midterms to get here, 2 years. And usually the president's party loses ground in the midterms so, I would say let's give him 2 years. I'm saying this to the left. Give him 2 years. And if he has sucked at what he does, then, vote your liberal friends into the House and in the Senate. But, work together. When America succeeds, we all succeed. Trump isn't just saying, well, let's give conservatives credit for this, or let's raise let's lower gas prices for conservatives. We're going to send out cards that when you go to the gas pump, when you put it in to your credit card in to pay, before you do that, here's a card to put in that you're a conservative, and it'll lower your gas price by $1 a gallon. When Trump succeeds, the country succeeds.
Yeah.
And it's the same no matter who's in office. The Bible tells us that we need to pray for our leaders. People would probably say, well, did you pray for Joe Biden when he was in office? And I would say probably not as much as I should have, but yes, I did pray for him. We need to pray for our leaders. We need to give them the opportunity to make America great, to make America the greatest that it can be.
And I've actually got a video that I was going to show tomorrow, and it's comedian Dave Chappelle on Saturday Night Live, and he's basically saying the exact same thing. Give him a chance. Let's see what he can do. There's no reason to stand up and conjecture now. Let him go. Let him do it. So he basically said the exact same thing you just did, which I agree. I gave Joe Biden a chance. I didn't vote for him. I didn't care for him. I didn't want him there, but.
So you have that video, or are you going to play it tomorrow night?
No, I was going to play it tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
I've got that and a couple others.
So as we start to wrap things up, again, we'll be back tomorrow night with our regular Red, White, and True. I kind of like the way, I'm ignoring everybody else here and talking to you, but I kind of like the way we got together before, and it wasn't any earth-shattering stuff, but we kind of got on the same page, and that worked out pretty well. So what do you want everybody to take away from January the 20th, 2025?
Well, the biggest things that I took away from his speech and that I wanted to take away from today is how many times he mentioned God, how many times he brought that up. God saved his life for a reason. So, if you voted, it doesn't matter how you voted, give the man a chance, like we were just talking about. As for me, January 20th, 2025 is Liberation Day. I watched Joe Biden get on that helicopter, and they stood there and waved goodbye, and so did I. See you later, buddy.
Yeah, I've seen some pretty funny memes about that one.
Yeah.
The Looney Tunes, that's all, folks.
Yeah. And like Donald Trump said in the beginning of this speech, the golden age of America begins right now. Let's try it. Let's do it.
Well, much like you, I loved the amount of times that he referenced God. The prayers, all of the different prayers were amazing. And there was Catholics and non-denominational, there was a Jewish rabbi, and I had read that there was going to be a Muslim that gave a prayer, and I don't think that happened.
No.
I, but the mention of God over and over would kind of lead one to think that it was just an oversight on him not putting his hand on the Bible. Why would you talk about God over and over and over and intentionally not take your oath on a Bible?
Yeah.
And by the way, it's not required that you take your oath on a Bible. You can take it on many different kinds of books, law books, and different things like that. So that's not a requirement. And actually, it's not a requirement at the end to say, "So help me God." And he did do that. So we'll talk more about that. I hope it's a non-issue by the time we talk tomorrow.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed. Well, I mean, he brought back a lot of things from my generation. When we mentioned the Village People, you think and you laugh about the Village People, but I bet you that Trump was good for their economic situation, and you think that maybe they have played a few more places and made a few more dollars because the Trump created the Trump dance to their music.
He made the Village People great again.
Making, I like that. That's good. But had people, well, Carrie Underwood, she took a lot of garbage. Nelly, I'm a St. Louis Cardinal fan. Nelly is a St. Louis native, and he's a big time St. Louis Cardinal fan. And last year, when they introduced some new uniforms, every baseball team over the course of about 4 years is getting a new, they call them City Connect uniform. And it was Nelly, when they introduced these new uniforms, Nelly actually produced a video and a song that went with that release. People know Nelly is a black man, and he has taken a lot of grief for supporting Trump. And I think the theme, you said that Chappelle said that. I'm pretty sure that Nelly said that. You and I would say that long and vibrantly, that let's give the man a chance to see what he can do. I mean, think about the good things he did the first term with little to no support.
Yeah.
And all of the time that he spent defending himself, let's let him govern with that time. Let him help the country. So, you look at that wide variety, you think of Kid Rock, and you think of Dana White, you think of Dan Bongino, you think of Joe Rogan, Elon Musk, all of the government efficiency people that are coming in. To me, it's a great day.
Absolutely.
It's a great day. And I heard Kash Patel talking they would occasionally flash over to the arena. I mean, they were in the arena all day, basically. And so they had speakers over there that would fill in between the major things. And I heard Kash Patel said, as he ended his talk, and he almost forgot to say it, he started to walk off, and then he walked back and he said, "Let's go to work. Let's go to work." And that,
couldn't agree more.
So, today's over with, or will be soon. Hopefully the president gets a good night of sleep, rests up, because I think that's his way of looking at it too. Let's go to work.
Yeah.
Let's go to work. Got anything else?
No, not right now.
Well, let's go ahead with our fireworks scene, because boy, there were some fireworks today. And then hang on before you take off.
Okay.
Thank you, folks, for being with us for this special edition of Red, White, and True. Here, let me put my map up. There you go.
Better coverage than Verizon.
Yeah, that's right. You got a couple really good ones in tonight. Better coverage than Verizon. We started on election night. We continue with the inauguration and getting ready for 4 more years. 4 more years. So until tomorrow night when we see you again, go out and do the right thing.